a demand of many Syrians, particularly the people who are under bombardment in Aleppo now, is for a safe zone or no-fly zone. And I understand the problems with this. I mean, the biggest problem with it is that Russia obviously is not going to go along. So if the U.S. intends to impose a no-fly zone, it's going to risk military confrontation with Russia, which could escalate globally. So I'm not glib about this. I understand the problems with the demand for a no-fly zone. But also, you know, throwing up our hands and saying not our problem is not a solution either. And, you know, saying that the attitude of the so-called anti-war movement in the United States seems to be, at best, that it's acceptable for Syrians to die so as to avoid superpower conflict, so as to avoid an escalation to world war between the U.S. and Russia. And that does not strike me as a particularly principled or courageous position. It strikes me as an extremely unprincipled and cowardly position. So I'm not out here making policy prescriptions, but I am out here saying that the world owes some kind of solidarity to the Syrians, and particularly speaking as a longtime member of the anti-war forces in the United States, that we have to raise our voice against what Assad and Putin are doing in Syria, just as we raised our voices about what the U.S. was doing in Iraq.
If there were a safe zone, of course, I mean, well, people want to be safe. But the reason, what the U.S. wants to do is they want to keep people from leaving, not to be able to stay where they are, which is what today's about, against forced displacement. They want to prevent them from going to Europe and putting pressure on Europe. And that's not a real solution. I mean, if it saves lives, of course, we want to help people however they can be helped. But it's not a real solution to say, here's this area in Syria where you can go and be in a refugee camp inside Syria instead of outside of it. That's not a genuine, I don't think, a genuine political solution. The bombing should stop. The attacks on civilians should stop, so they should be able to live where they live.